Chapter 1: The Power of Silence in Defining Your Path. Why do you think life will pause and wait for you? Because it won't. I don't have the answer you might expect, but I'm here to show you why you must succeed. Stay in it, and let's begin. The world is a noisy place, filled with voices clamoring for attention, opinions thrown around like confetti, and expectations that can suffocate your individuality. In this chaos, one of the most powerful tools you possess is your ability to keep your plans, your work, and your ambitions close to your chest. Never tell people what you do, not out of secrecy, but out of strategy. When you broadcast your every move, you invite scrutiny, doubt, and unsolicited advice that can derail your focus. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of power. It's the quiet confidence that allows you to move forward without the weight of others' judgments holding you back. Imagine this: you're building a dream, something grand, something that sets your soul on fire. Maybe it's a business, a creative project, or a personal transformation. The moment you share it with the world, you open the door to a flood of opinions. Some will cheer you on, sure, but others, often those closest, will chip away at your confidence with their what ifs and you can'ts. They don't mean to harm you, but their words plant seeds of doubt. And doubt, my friend, is the enemy of progress. By keeping your plans to yourself, you protect that sacred spark within you. You give it room to grow without being smothered by external voices. This is about training your brain to focus on your vision, not someone else's version of what's possible. Silence is a shield. It's not about hiding who you are. It's about preserving your energy for what matters. When you talk too much about your goals, you risk diluting their power. Words are cheap, and talking about your dreams can sometimes trick your brain into feeling like you've already accomplished them. It's called the illusion of progress. Studies in psychology, like those by Dr. Peter Gollwitzer, show that announcing your goals can reduce your motivation to achieve them because it gives you a premature sense of satisfaction. By keeping your ambitions private, you channel all that energy into action, not words. You're not just dreaming, you're doing. And that's where the real transformation happens. Think of the greatest minds in history: Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, or even modern-day innovators like Elon Musk in his early days. They didn't rise to greatness by shouting their plans from the rooftops. They worked in the shadows, honing their craft, refining their vision, and letting their results speak for themselves. When you focus on the work itself, you train your brain to prioritize substance over showmanship. You build a mental fortress that guards your purpose against distraction. This isn't about being antisocial or secretive. It's about understanding that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. The people who matter will see your success when it's ready to shine. This chapter isn't just about keeping quiet. It's about mastering your mind. Training your brain to stay disciplined means rewiring how you think about validation. Society conditions us to seek approval, to post every milestone, to crave likes and comments. But true mastery comes from within. When you stop seeking external validation, you start cultivating internal strength. You begin to trust your own compass. You learn to measure your progress by your own standards, not the applause of the crowd. This is the foundation of mastering life. Knowing your worth doesn't depend on what others think of your work. Picture yourself as a sculptor, chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike of the chisel is deliberate, focused, and private. You don't invite the world to critique every chip you make. You work in solitude, perfecting your craft until the statue is complete. Only then do you unveil it. Your life is that statue. Every day, you're carving out your future, and the less you share about the process, the more control you have over the outcome. Silence gives you clarity. It helps you filter out the noise of doubt, fear, and comparison. It's the first step in training your brain to stay locked on your purpose. But let's be real, this isn't easy. The urge to share is strong. We're wired to connect, to be seen, to be understood. And there's nothing wrong with that. The key is discernment, knowing when to share and with whom. Not everyone in your circle is ready to hear your vision. Some will project their fears onto you, others their envy. By choosing silence, you're not isolating yourself. You're protecting your mental space. You're giving yourself permission to dream big without interruption. You're training your brain to value progress over praise. This mindset shift is a game changer. It's not just about keeping your mouth shut, it's about redirecting your energy inward. It's about building a mental muscle that can withstand the temptation to seek approval. Every time you choose silence over chatter, you're reinforcing your commitment to your own path. You're telling yourself, my work matters more than their words. You're mastering the art of focus, and focus is the currency of success. Life won't wait for you. It's moving, always. The question is, will you move with it, or will you let the noise hold you back? Stay in it. Keep your vision close and let your actions do the talking. Chapter 2. Rewiring your mind for relentless focus. The world is a battlefield of distractions, and your mind is the prize. Every day, you're bombarded with notifications, opinions, and endless streams of information vying for your attention. To master life, you must train your brain to cut through this chaos and lock onto what truly matters, your purpose. Focus isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. It's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. This chapter is about rewiring your mind to become a fortress of concentration, a machine of progress that refuses to be derailed by the noise of the world. Let's start with a hard truth. Your brain is not naturally wired for relentless focus. Evolution designed it to be scattered, to scan for threats, to jump from one stimulus to the next. Back when survival meant dodging predators, this was useful. But in today's world, that same wiring can be your downfall. Social media, endless news cycles, and the constant ping of messages exploit your brain's tendency to wander. If you want to master life, you have to take control of this wiring. You have to train your brain like an athlete trains their body, deliberately, consistently, and with unyielding discipline. Start by understanding the concept of attention residue. Research by Dr. Sophie Leroy, a cognitive scientist, shows that when you switch tasks, say from working on a project to checking your phone, your brain doesn't fully transition. A piece of your attention stays stuck on the previous task, reducing your mental capacity for the new one. This is why multitasking is a myth. It doesn't make you more productive. It fractures your focus and dilutes your results. To master life, you need to become a master of single tasking. This means creating an environment where your brain can lock in without interference. Picture your mind as a garden. Every thought, every goal, every distraction is a seed. If you let weeds, those pointless notifications, idle gossip, or self-doubt, take root, they'll choke out the flowers you're trying to grow. Training your brain starts with clearing the soil. This could mean turning off notifications, setting strict boundaries for when you check emails or social media, or even physically removing yourself from distracting environments. Create a space where your focus can thrive. Maybe it's a quiet corner of your home, a coffee shop with no Wi-Fi, or a daily ritual of deep work where you shut out the world for a set period. The key is intentionality. You're not just avoiding distractions, you're designing a life that prioritizes your purpose. Now, let's talk about the mental habits that anchor relentless focus. One of the most powerful tools is visualization. Elite performers, athletes, CEOs, artists use visualization to prime their brains for success. Close your eyes and picture yourself achieving your goal. See the details, the setting, the emotions, the outcome. Feel the pride, the satisfaction, the weight of the work you've put in. This isn't just daydreaming. It's programming your subconscious to stay aligned with your vision. When you regularly visualize your success, your brain starts to treat it as inevitable. It becomes a North Star, guiding your actions even when distractions try to pull you off course. But visualization alone isn't enough. You need systems to back it up. One of the most effective is the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused bursts, say 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. This trains your brain to stay engaged for intense periods while preventing burnout. Another system is the one thing principle, popularized by Gary Keller. Ask yourself daily, what's the one thing I can do today that will move me closer to my goal? Then prioritize it above everything else. These systems aren't just productivity hacks, they're mental conditioning tools. They teach your brain to value progress over perfection, action over hesitation. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Your own mind can be your worst enemy. Self-doubt, fear of failure, and the temptation to procrastinate are all internal distractions that can be just as crippling as external ones. To combat this, you need to build a mental dialogue that empowers you. This is where affirmations and self talk come in. Don't roll your eyes. These aren't fluffy buzzwords. Studies in neuroscience show that positive self talk can rewire neural pathways, strengthening your resilience and focus. Instead of saying, I'm too busy, try, I'm prioritizing what matters. Instead of, I can't do this, tell yourself, I'm learning how to do this. Over time, these small shifts in language reshape your mindset, making focus not just a choice, but a habit. Another critical piece of this puzzle is energy management. Your brain is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs fuel and rest to perform at its best. Sleep is non-negotiable, 7 to 9 hours a night, no exceptions. Poor sleep impairs your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making. Nutrition matters too. A diet heavy in processed foods and sugar spikes your blood sugar, leading to energy crashes that kill your concentration. Hydration, exercise, and even short meditation sessions can sharpen your mental clarity. These aren't just health tips, they're focus strategies. When you treat your body like a high-performance machine, your brain follows suit. Let's talk about the long game. Relentless focus isn't built in a day. It's a muscle you strengthen over time through consistent practice. Start small, maybe 10 minutes of uninterrupted work on a single task. Gradually increase the duration as your brain adapts. Track your progress, not to obsess over perfection, but to celebrate the tiny wins that compound into massive results. Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Write down what distracted you today, what worked, and what you'll do differently tomorrow. This reflection trains your brain to stay accountable to your goals. The beauty of relentless focus is that it spills over into every area of your life. When you train your brain to lock onto your priorities, you start making better decisions. You stop wasting time on people, habits, or thoughts that don't serve your purpose. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You become the architect of your own destiny, not a passenger in someone else's story. This is what it means to master life, to take control of your attention, your energy, and your actions, and to direct them towards something bigger than yourself. But here's the kicker. Focus isn't about shutting out the world entirely. It's about choosing what deserves your attention. There will be moments when you need to connect, to share, to collaborate. The difference is that you do it on your terms, with intention, not because you're chasing approval or escaping discomfort. You're not just training your brain to focus, you're training it to trust itself. You're building a mind that can weather the storms of doubt, distraction, and delay, and still come out stronger. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. The people who win are the ones who learn to stay in their lane, eyes fixed on the finish line, no matter how many others try to pull them off course. You don't need to announce your every step. You don't need the world's permission to chase your dreams. What you need is a mind that's disciplined, a heart that's determined, and a vision that's unshakable. Train your brain to focus, and you'll find that the path to mastering life becomes clearer with every step. Chapter 3: Embracing the Grind, the Art of Persistent Effort. Success isn't a lightning bolt. It's a mountain you carve out with your bare hands, one relentless strike at a time. The grind, the daily, unglamorous, often grueling work of showing up when you don't feel like it, is where dreams are forged. Mastering life means embracing this grind, not as a burden, but as a sacred process. It's about training your brain to see every small, repetitive action as a brick in the foundation of your future. This chapter is about falling in love with the effort, understanding its power, and building a mindset that thrives in the face of monotony and challenge. Let's start with a reality check. The grind isn't sexy. It's not the highlight reel of social media, the triumphant montage, or the moment of glory. It's the 5 a.m. alarm when your body begs for sleep. It's the hours spent tweaking a single detail no one else will notice. It's the rejection emails, the failed attempts, the moments when you question if it's all worth it. But here's the truth. The grind is where the magic happens. It's the crucible that transforms potential into reality. Every successful person you admire, whether it's an athlete like Serena Williams, an entrepreneur like Sarah Blakely, or an artist like Beyoncé, has mastered the art of showing up day after day when no one's watching. Why is the grind so hard? Because your brain is wired for instant gratification. Dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation, spikes when you get a quick win, a like on a post, a sugary snack, a Netflix binge. But the grind? It's a slow burn. It demands delayed gratification, something your brain naturally resists. To master life, you have to rewire this instinct. You have to train your brain to crave the process, not just the outcome. This starts with reframing how you view effort. Instead of seeing the grind as a means to an end, see it as the end itself. The work is the reward. Every step you take, no matter how small, is proof of your commitment to your vision. Let's break this down practically. One of the most powerful ways to embrace the grind is through habit stacking, a concept popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits. The idea is simple. Tie a new habit to an existing one to make it stick. Want to write every day? Pair it with your morning coffee. After you pour your cup, you write for 10 minutes. Want to exercise consistently? Do it right after brushing your teeth. These small, intentional habits build momentum over time. They train your brain to see the grind as non-negotiable, like eating or sleeping. Over weeks, months, and years, these tiny actions compound into results that seem miraculous to outsiders, but are simply the product of your persistence. Another key to mastering the grind is understanding the plateau of latent potential, a term coined by Clear. Early in any pursuit, your efforts often feel like they're going nowhere. You're putting in hours, but the results are underwhelming. This is where most people quit. But beneath the surface, your work is building a foundation. Think of it like bamboo. For years, it grows underground, invisible, before shooting up to towering heights. Your grind is the same. Every day you show up, you're laying roots. The breakthroughs come later, but only if you don't give up during the invisible phase. Train your brain to trust this process, to believe in the unseen progress, and you'll outlast those who chase quick wins. Let's talk about discomfort, because the grind is full of it. Your brain will scream for you to stop when things get hard, when the task is boring, the feedback is harsh, or the goal feels too far away. This is where mental toughness comes in. You build it by leaning into discomfort, not avoiding it. Navy SEALs use a concept called embracing the suck, which means accepting pain as part of the journey. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you want to quit, remind yourself, this is the grind. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Tell yourself, I can be uncomfortable for 10 more minutes. Then do it again. Over time, your brain learns to tolerate and even thrive in discomfort. Another tool for embracing the grind is goal segmentation. Big dreams can feel overwhelming, so break them into micro goals. If you're writing a book, don't focus on the 80,000 words. Focus on 500 words today. If you're starting a business, don't obsess over the $1,000,000 revenue. Focus on one customer today. These small wins release dopamine, tricking your brain into staying motivated while keeping you grounded in the present. Celebrate these wins, no matter how tiny. Did you show up today? That's a victory. Did you push through a tough moment? That's a triumph. These moments train your brain to associate effort with reward, making the grind not just bearable, but addictive. Let's not sugarcoat it. The grind tests your soul. There will be days when you feel like you're running in place, when the world seems to move forward while you're stuck. This is where self-compassion becomes your ally. Beating yourself up for slow progress only drains your energy. Instead, practice what psychologist Kristen Neff calls self-kindness. Acknowledge the effort you're putting in, even if the results aren't there yet. Write it down. Today, I showed up. Today, I did the work. This reinforces your identity as someone who persists, which is more powerful than any temporary setback. Your brain needs to hear that you're enough, even in the messy middle of the grind. The grind also demands resilience against external pressures. People will question your path. They'll ask why you're working so hard, why you're not taking the easy road, why you're not normal. This is where the silence from Chapter 1 comes back into play. By keeping your focus inward, you shield yourself from these voices. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your grind. Your work is your answer. Over time, your results will silence the skeptics, but only if you stay committed to the process. Let's talk about the long-term payoff. The grind isn't just about achieving one goal. It's about becoming a person who can achieve any goal. Every time you show up, you're building discipline, resilience, and confidence. You're training your brain to believe in your ability to overcome obstacles. This is the essence of mastering life, becoming someone who can face any challenge, not because you're fearless, but because you've learned to trust your ability to keep going. The grind shapes your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Picture yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now. The person you become is the sum of the days you choose to grind. Every moment you push through resistance, you're chiseling away at the raw material of your potential. You're not just building a career, a body, or a legacy. You're building you. The grind is your sculptor's hammer, and life is your masterpiece. Embrace it, love it, live it. Because the grind isn't just the path to success, it's the proof that you're already winning. Chapter 4, The Alchemy of Failure, Turning Setbacks into Stepping Stones. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the raw material of it. Every missed shot, every rejection, every moment you fall short is a lesson dressed in disguise, waiting for you to unravel its wisdom. Mastering life means embracing failure, not as a dead end, but as a detour, a necessary part of the journey that sharpens your mind, strengthens your resolve, and prepares you for the victories ahead. This chapter is about training your brain to see failure as fuel, to transform setbacks into stepping stones, and to alchemize pain into progress. Let's face it, failure stings. It's the gut punch of a rejected proposal, the embarrassment of a public mistake, the quiet ache of realizing you're not where you thought you'd be. Your brain is wired to avoid this pain. It's called the negativity bias, a survival mechanism that makes you focus on threats and losses more than gains. In the modern world, this bias can paralyze you, making every failure feel like a verdict on your worth. But here's the truth. Failure is not a judgment. It's a teacher. To master life, you must rewire your brain to embrace it, to see every stumble as a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Start by reframing what failure means. It's not the end of the story. It's a plot twist. Thomas Edison didn't see his 10,000 failed attempts at the light bulb as defeats. He saw them as 10,000 ways to learn what didn't work. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter found a home. Each no was a step closer to her yes. This mindset shift is critical. Failure is feedback. It's data. It's the universe telling you, not this way, but keep going. When you train your brain to view setbacks as information, you strip them of their power to define you. Instead, they become tools to refine you. Let's get practical. One of the best ways to harness failure is through a process called post-mortem analysis. After a setback, take a moment to dissect it. Grab a journal and ask, what went wrong? What can I learn? What can I do differently next time? This isn't about dwelling on the mistake. It's about mining it for gold. For example, if a business pitch fails, maybe you learn your delivery needs work or your research was incomplete. If a personal goal falls short, maybe you discover your plan lacked structure or you underestimated the time required. By analyzing failures, you train your brain to focus on solutions, not self-pity. You turn pain into progress. Another key is to normalize failure. The world loves to glorify success, but behind every triumph is a trail of missteps. Studies show that high achievers, like top entrepreneurs or athletes, fail more often than others. Not because they're less capable, but because they try more. They take risks. They step into the arena, knowing they might fall because they trust their ability to get back up. This is called a growth mindset, a term coined by psychologist Carol Dweck. It's the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, they grow through effort and learning. When you adopt this mindset, failure becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. You start to see every setback as a chance to stretch your potential. But let's be real. Failure can shake your confidence. It can make you question your path, your abilities, even your worth. This is where emotional resilience comes in. One powerful technique is cognitive restructuring, rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. When a failure triggers negative thoughts, like I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed, challenge them. Write down the thought, then ask, is this true? Is there evidence to the contrary? What would I tell a friend in this situation? For example, if you think, I failed, so I'm a failure, counter it with, I failed at this task, but I've succeeded at others, and I'm learning. This rewires your brain to separate your identity from your outcomes, giving you the strength to keep going. Another tool is to practice failing forward. This means taking small, calculated risks to build your failure muscle. Start a side project, pitch an idea, try a new skill, something where the stakes are low but the learning is high. Each small failure desensitizes you to the fear of falling short. It teaches your brain that setbacks are survivable, even valuable. Over time, you'll develop what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to handle challenges. This belief is the bedrock of mastering life. It's what lets you face bigger risks, bigger dreams, and bigger failures without flinching. Let's talk about the external side of failure, other people's reactions. When you fail, some will judge, some will gossip, some will say, "I told you so." This is where the silence from chapter 1 and the focus from chapter 2 become your allies. By keeping your plans close, you minimize the noise of outside opinions. But when failure does go public, own it. There's power in saying, "I tried, I fell short, and I'm still moving forward." Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It shows you're human, and it inspires others to keep going too. Plus, it trains your brain to care less about judgment and more about growth. The alchemy of failure also involves time management. Setbacks often feel like wasted time, but they're not. Every moment spent learning, adjusting, and trying again is an investment in your future. Think of failure as tuition in the school of life. You're paying for wisdom, and the cost is worth it. To make the most of this, set failure budgets. For example, if you're launching a product, give yourself permission to fail a certain number of times, say 3 prototypes or 5 pitches. This shifts your mindset from avoiding failure to expecting it as part of the process. It frees you to experiment boldly, knowing each failure brings you closer to success. Let's address the emotional toll. Failure can leave you drained, demotivated, even depressed. This is where self-care becomes a strategy, not a luxury. Exercise, meditation, or even a walk in nature can reset your nervous system, helping you process setbacks without spiraling. Journaling is another powerful tool. Write about your failures, not just to analyze them, but to release the emotions tied to them. Studies show expressive writing can reduce stress and improve mental clarity, giving you the energy to get back in the game. The ultimate gift of failure is perspective. When you look back on your life, you'll see that your greatest growth came from your hardest moments. The job you didn't get pushed you to start your own company. The relationship that ended taught you what you truly value. The project that flopped showed you how to pivot. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. It's the fire that burns away the inessential, leaving behind a stronger, clearer version of yourself. Mastering life means seeing every setback as a setup for a comeback. So the next time you fail, and you will, don't run from it. Lean into it. Ask it what it's here to teach you. Let it shape you, not break you. Train your brain to see failure as a partner in your journey, not an enemy. Because every time you rise from a fall, you're not just moving forward, you're becoming unstoppable. Chapter 5, The Discipline of Delayed Gratification. Building a future worth waiting for. In a world obsessed with instant results, the ability to delay gratification is a rare and powerful skill. It's the choice to forgo fleeting pleasures for the sake of lasting rewards, to plant seeds today that will grow into forests tomorrow. Mastering life requires training your brain to value the long game over the quick fix, to find joy in the wait, and to build a future that's worth every ounce of patience. This chapter is about cultivating the discipline of delayed gratification, rewiring your instincts, and embracing the slow, steady path to greatness. Let's start with the science. Your brain is wired to crave instant rewards, a hit of dopamine from a text, a snack, or a scroll through social media. This is called the present bias, a tendency to prioritize immediate pleasures over future benefits. It's why you might choose to binge a show instead of working on your goals, or spend money now instead of saving for later. But here's the kicker. The most successful people in the world, whether in business, sports, or art, have mastered the art of resisting this urge. They've trained their brains to see the bigger picture, to choose the marathon over the sprint. And you can too. The classic study on delayed gratification is the Stanford marshmallow experiment, conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel in the 1960s. Kids were given a choice: eat 1 marshmallow now or wait 15 minutes and get 2. Those who waited, showing self control, went on to have better academic performance, healthier relationships, and higher life satisfaction years later. The lesson? The ability to delay gratification isn't just a personality trait, it's a trainable skill that predicts success across every domain of life. Mastering this skill means rewiring your brain to prioritize your future self over your present impulses. So, how do you do it? Start with awareness. Your brain's default setting is to seek comfort and avoid effort, especially when the payoff feels far away. The first step is catching yourself in the act. Notice when you're tempted to choose the easy path, a late night Netflix session instead of studying, a quick purchase instead of saving, or skipping a workout for an extra hour of sleep. Pause and ask, is this serving my future self? This simple question interrupts the impulse and gives your rational brain a chance to take the wheel. Over time, this pause becomes a habit and your brain starts to align with your long-term goals. Next, let's talk about environment design. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you think. If you want to delay gratification, make the hard choice easier and the easy choice harder. For example, if you're saving money, set up automatic transfers to a savings account so you don't have to decide every month. If you're trying to eat healthier, keep junk food out of the house and prep meals in advance. If you're working on a big project, block social media during work hours, or use apps like Freedom or Focus at Will to eliminate distractions. By designing your environment, you reduce the mental effort needed to resist temptation, freeing your brain to focus on what matters. Another powerful tool is goal visualization, but with a twist. Instead of just imagining the outcome, like a successful career or a fit body, visualize the process. Picture yourself saying no to distractions, putting in the hours, and overcoming obstacles. See yourself enjoying the grind, not just the reward. This trains your brain to associate pleasure with the work itself, not just the end result. Studies show that process-focused visualization strengthens self-control by making the journey feel rewarding, not just the destination. It's like training your brain to love the taste of discipline as much as the sweetness of success. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Time management. Delayed gratification often means prioritizing tasks with long-term impact over those with immediate appeal. Use the Eisenhower matrix to sort your to-dos. Categorize tasks as urgent, important, not urgent, important, urgent, not important, or not urgent, not important. Focus on the not urgent, important quadrant. Things like learning a new skill, building relationships, or planning for the future. These tasks don't scream for attention, but they're the ones that shape your destiny. By consistently choosing them over urgent, not important distractions, like endless emails or social media, you train your brain to value long-term gains. Now, let's address the emotional side. Delaying gratification can feel like deprivation. Your brain might throw a tantrum, whispering, "Why can't I have this now?" This is where self-compassion and small rewards come in. You don't have to live like a monk. Build in mini rewards that don't derail your goals. Finished a tough work session? Take a 10-minute walk or listen to your favorite song. Saved money for a month? Treat yourself to a small, meaningful purchase that aligns with your values. These rewards keep your dopamine levels balanced, making it easier to stay disciplined without feeling punished. The key is to make sure the reward supports your bigger vision, not sabotages it. Another critical piece is reframing sacrifice. When you choose delayed gratification, you're not giving up pleasure. You're trading a lesser one for a greater one. Think of it like investing in the stock market. You're putting money in now for a bigger return later. Every time you say no to a distraction, you're saying yes to your future. Write this down somewhere you'll see it daily. Every sacrifice today is a gift to my future self. This mantra rewires your brain to see discipline as empowerment, not restriction. Over time, you'll start to crave the feeling of control that comes with making hard choices. Let's talk about the social pressure. The world doesn't make it easy to delay gratification. Friends might tempt you to skip work for a night out. Ads bombard you with buy now, pay later promises. Social media showcases people living their best lives, making your grind feel inadequate. This is where the silence from Chapter 1 and the focus from Chapter 2 come back. By keeping your goals private, you shield yourself from external pressures. By staying focused, You tune out the noise of comparison. Surround yourself with people who respect your discipline, those who cheer your long-term vision, not just your short-term fun. Your tribe shapes your mindset, so choose wisely. The long-term payoff of delayed gratification is profound. It's not just about achieving a single goal. It's about becoming a person who can achieve any goal. Every time you choose the future over the present, you're building mental muscle. You're proving to yourself that you can trust your own decisions, that you're capable of shaping your life. This self-trust is the foundation of mastering life. It's what lets you take on bigger challenges, dream bigger dreams, and weather bigger storms. Picture yourself a decade from now. The choices you make today, the moments you say no to instant gratification, are the bricks building your future. Will you live in a house of regrets or a palace of possibilities? The discipline of delayed gratification is your architect's blueprint. It's the commitment to show up for your future self, to honor the person you're becoming. Every time you choose the hard path, you're not just building a better life, you're becoming a better you. So stay patient, stay disciplined, stay in it, because the future you're building is worth every second of the wait. Chapter 6, The Power of Self-Belief, Crafting an Unshakable Mindset. Belief in yourself is the invisible force that turns dreams into reality. It's the quiet conviction that you are capable, worthy, and destined for greatness, even when the world doubts you. Mastering life requires training your brain to cultivate an unshakable self-belief, a mindset that doesn't waver in the face of setbacks, criticism, or uncertainty. This chapter is about building that inner fortress, rewiring your thoughts to trust your potential, and anchoring your identity in a foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. Let's start with a fundamental truth. Your beliefs shape your reality. Your brain is a meaning-making machine, constantly interpreting the world based on what you tell it. If you believe you're destined to fail, your brain will find evidence to confirm it. Every mistake, every obstacle will feel like proof. But if you believe you're capable of overcoming anything, your brain will seek out solutions, opportunities, and reasons to keep going. This is called the confirmation bias, and it's a double-edged sword. To master life, you must wield it in your favor, training your brain to believe in your ability to succeed, no matter the odds. Self-belief isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Think of it like a muscle. Every rep, every challenge, every moment you choose to trust yourself strengthens it. But where do you start? First, confront the stories you tell yourself. We all carry narratives, some empowering, some limiting, formed by past experiences, societal messages, or even careless words from others. Maybe you were told you're not good at math or too shy to lead. These stories become mental scripts that run in the background, shaping your actions. To build self-belief, you need to rewrite these scripts. Grab a journal and write down the negative beliefs you hold about yourself. For each one, ask, is this true? Where did it come from? What evidence proves it wrong? Then, craft a new narrative. Instead of, I'm not good enough, write, I'm learning and improving every day. This isn't just positive thinking. It's cognitive reprogramming, backed by decades of research in psychology. Let's dive deeper into the science. Your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, acts like a filter, prioritizing information that aligns with your beliefs. When you believe in yourself, your RAS highlights opportunities, solutions, and strengths that reinforce that belief. This is why confident people seem to attract success. It's not magic, it's their brain working in their favor. To activate this, practice affirmations with intention. Don't just recite generic phrases like, I'm awesome. Be specific. I am capable of solving complex problems. I am resilient enough to handle rejection. Say them daily, out loud, with conviction. Studies show that verbal affirmations can strengthen neural pathways, making self-belief a default state over time. It's like planting seeds in your mind that grow into confidence. But self-belief isn't just about words. It's about action. You build trust in yourself by keeping promises to yourself. Start small. Commit to a daily habit, like 10 minutes of reading, a short workout, or writing a single paragraph, and stick to it. Every time you follow through, you're proving to your brain that you're reliable. This creates a feedback loop. Action builds belief, and belief fuels more action. Psychologists call this self-efficacy, the confidence in your ability to execute tasks and achieve goals. The more you act, the more you believe, and the stronger your mindset becomes. Think of it like a bank account. Every small deposit of effort adds to your balance of self-trust. Now, let's address the external world. People will doubt you. They'll project their fears, insecurities, or limited perspectives onto your dreams. This is where the silence from Chapter 1 becomes crucial again. By keeping your plans private, you protect your self-belief from the erosion of others' skepticism. But when criticism does come, and it will, use it as fuel. Not everyone's opinion deserves your attention. Ask yourself, does this person's feedback come from expertise or envy? Are they invested in my growth? Or are they just projecting their own limitations? Filter out the noise and focus on constructive input. This discernment trains your brain to stay anchored in your own truth, not someone else's. Failure, as we explored in Chapter 4, is another test of self-belief. When you fall short, your brain might try to convince you that you're not cut out for this. This is where resilience meets belief. Reframe setbacks as evidence of your courage. You tried, you risked, you grew. Look at any successful person, from Oprah Winfrey to Steve Jobs. Their stories are riddled with failures, but what set them apart was their unwavering belief that they could keep going. They didn't let rejection or mistakes rewrite their identity. You shouldn't either. After a setback, write down 3 things you did well, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. This trains your brain to focus on your strengths, not your shortcomings. Let's talk about the role of visualization. Elite performers use it to reinforce self-belief. Close your eyes and picture yourself succeeding, not just the moment of victory, but the person you become in the process. See yourself as confident, capable, unshakable. Feel the emotions of that version of you. This isn't just daydreaming. It's a neurological hack. Visualization activates the same brain regions as actual experiences, strengthening the neural pathways tied to confidence. Do this daily, and you'll start to embody the person you're imagining. Your brain will begin to see that version of you as real, making it easier to act in alignment with that belief. Another tool is surrounding yourself with believers. Your environment shapes your mindset, and the people around you are a big part of that. Seek out those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who see your potential even when you doubt it. This doesn't mean cutting out everyone else, but it does mean being intentional about who gets your time and energy. A study by social psychologist Dr. David McClelland found that your closest relationships can influence up to 95% of your success or failure. Choose people who lift your belief, not drain it. Their faith in you will reinforce your own. Let's not ignore the emotional side. Building self-belief can feel vulnerable, especially if you faced years of doubt or trauma. Be kind to yourself for instance, if you're building a business, consider what happens if a key client leaves or a new competitor emerges. By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, you train your brain to stay calm and solution-focused when change arrives. It's like building a mental muscle for quick thinking, reducing the panic that comes with the unexpected. Another key is embracing micro-adaptations. Big changes can feel overwhelming, but small, intentional adjustments build your adaptability muscle over time. Try something new every week. A different workout, a new recipe, a conversation with someone outside your circle. These small experiments teach your brain to handle novelty without freaking out. They also build confidence in your ability to navigate uncharted territory. Research shows that exposing yourself to controlled discomfort, like taking a cold shower or learning a new skill, activates neural pathways tied to resilience and flexibility. Over time, your brain starts to see change as less threatening and more exciting. Let's talk about the emotional side of adaptability. Change often brings loss of routine, relationships, or identity. Your brain might cling to the past, making it hard to move forward. This is where self-compassion from Chapter 3 becomes vital. Acknowledge the emotions, grief, fear, frustration, without letting them define you. Journal about what you're feeling, or talk to a trusted friend. Studies in emotional regulation show that naming your emotions reduces their intensity, freeing up mental space to adapt. For example, if a career change feels like a loss of status, write, "I feel scared because this role was part of my identity, but I'm also excited to discover who I can become." This balances honesty with hope, helping your brain pivot toward possibility. Another tool is building a change-ready toolkit. This includes habits that keep you grounded no matter what life throws at you. Meditation, for instance, trains your brain to stay present, reducing the anxiety that change often triggers. Just 10 minutes a day of mindfulness practice can lower cortisol levels and improve cognitive flexibility, according to studies. Exercise is another anchor. Physical movement releases endorphins, boosting your mood and sharpening your problem-solving skills. A strong support network is also crucial. Surround yourself with people who model adaptability, those who've navigated their own changes with resilience. Their stories and encouragement will reinforce your belief that you can handle whatever comes. Let's address the external pressures. Society often rewards rigidity, sticking to one career, one place, one way of doing things. But the world's greatest innovators, from Darwin to Elon Musk, thrived because they adapted. Darwin pivoted his theories as new evidence emerged. Musk shifted from PayPal to SpaceX to Tesla, each time embracing the unknown. Their secret? They didn't tie their identity to one outcome. They saw themselves as problem solvers, not as their job title or circumstances. Train your brain to do the same. Ask, who am I at my core? Maybe you're a creator, a learner, a helper. Anchor your identity in these timeless qualities, and change becomes less about losing yourself and more about evolving into a new version of you. Adaptability also requires letting go of perfectionism. Change is messy, and your brain might resist it because it can't control every outcome. Embrace the 80-20 rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Focus on what matters most and let go of the need to get everything right. For example, if you're starting a new venture, don't wait for the perfect plan. Just launch and adjust as you go. This lean startup approach, popularized by Eric Ries, is about testing, learning, and iterating. It trains your brain to value progress over perfection, making you nimbler in the face of change. The long-term payoff of adaptability is freedom. When you're not afraid of change, you're not tethered to one path, one job, or one version of yourself. You become anti-fragile, a term coined by Nassim Taleb to describe things that get stronger under stress. Every change, every disruption makes you more capable, more creative, more alive. This is the essence of mastering life, not controlling the waves, but learning to surf them. You don't just survive change, you thrive in it. Picture yourself a year from now, facing a curveball you can't predict today. Maybe it's a career shift, a personal challenge, or a global shift. The adaptable you doesn't flinch. You assess, you pivot, you grow. You trust your ability to handle the unknown because you've trained your brain to see change as a partner, not a threat. Every shift is a chance to reinvent, to learn, to become more. Adaptability isn't just a skill, it's a superpower that unlocks a life of infinite possibilities. So lean into the unknown, embrace the flux. Because the world may change, but your ability to master it never will. Chapter 8, The Mastery of Time, Owning Your Most Precious Resource. Time is the one currency you can never earn back. Every second that passes is gone forever, and yet most people treat it like an infinite resource, squandering it on distractions, indecision, or the demands of others. Mastering life means mastering time. Training your brain to treat every moment as a sacred opportunity to build the future you envision. This chapter is about taking control of your time, prioritizing what truly matters, and creating a life where every day aligns with your deepest purpose. Let's start with a sobering truth. You have less time than you think. The average lifespan is about 4,000 weeks. Sounds like a lot, but how many have you already used? Your brain often tricks you into believing you have plenty of time to start that project, chase that dream, or become the person you want to be. This is called temporal discounting, the tendency to undervalue the future in favor of the present. To master life, you must rewire your brain to see time as finite and precious, to treat each day as a chance to invest in your legacy rather than spend it on fleeting pleasures. The first step is clarity. You can't manage time if you don't know what you're aiming for. Define your priorities, not just vague goals like be successful, but specific, meaningful outcomes. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in 1 year? 5 years? 10? Write down your top 3 priorities. Maybe it's building a business, deepening relationships, or mastering a skill. These are your North Stars. Every time decision you make should serve these priorities. This clarity trains your brain to filter out distractions and focus on what moves the needle. Without it, you're just drifting, letting time slip through your fingers. Now let's talk systems. One of the most powerful tools for mastering time is time blocking. This means assigning specific chunks of your day to specific tasks, treating them like non negotiable appointments. For example, block 8:10 a.m. for deep work on your most important project, 11 a.m., 12 p.m. for emails, and 3-4 p.m. for exercise. Studies show that time blocking increases productivity by reducing decision fatigue. Your brain doesn't have to keep choosing what to do next. It also creates a rhythm that reinforces discipline, making it easier to stick to your priorities. Use a calendar app or a simple notebook, but commit to the schedule. Over time, your brain will crave the structure, turning time management into a habit. Another key is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Answer that quick email, make that call, tidy that desk. This prevents small tasks from piling up and stealing mental energy. For bigger tasks, break them into 2-minute starters. Want to write a book? Start with 2 minutes of brainstorming ideas. Want to get fit? Start with 2 minutes of stretching. This leverages the Zeigarnik effect, where your brain hates leaving tasks unfinished, nudging you to keep going. These tiny actions create momentum, making it easier to tackle larger chunks of work and reclaim time you'd otherwise lose to procrastination. Let's address the elephant in the room: distractions. Your brain is wired to chase shiny objects, notifications, social media, that quick YouTube video that turns into an hour. The average person checks their phone 150 times a day, losing hours to mindless scrolling. To combat this, create friction between you and your distractions. Turn off notifications, keep your phone in another room during work hours, or use apps like Forest to gamify focus. At the same time, reduce friction for your priorities. Keep your workspace clear, your tools ready, your goals visible. This environment design, as we touched on in Chapter 5, trains your brain to default to productive habits, saving time for what matters. Another critical piece is saying no. Time is a zero-sum game. What you give to one thing, you take from another. Your brain might resist saying no, especially if you're a people pleaser, because it fears conflict or missed opportunities. But every yes to something trivial is a no to your dreams. Practice polite but firm boundaries. I'd love to help, but my schedule is full. Or, let me check my priorities and get back to you. This protects your time and trains your brain to value your own goals above external demands. As Warren Buffett says, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Let's talk about energy, because time management isn't just about hours, it's about how you use them. Your brain's productivity peaks at certain times of day, often in the morning when your prefrontal cortex is sharpest. Schedule your most important tasks during these high-energy windows. Save low-effort tasks, like admin or errands, for when your energy dips. Protect your energy by prioritizing sleep, nutrition, and movement, as we discussed in Chapter 2. A tired brain wastes time on indecision and errors, so treat rest as a time investment, not a luxury. Studies show that even a 20-minute nap can boost cognitive performance, giving you more effective hours in your day. Now, let's address the emotional side. Poor time management often stems from fear of failure, fear of missing out, fear of not being enough. These emotions push you to procrastinate or overcommit, frittering away time on things that don't serve you. Combat this with mindfulness. Take 5 minutes daily to reflect. How did I spend my time today? Did it align with my priorities? What can I do better tomorrow? This practice, rooted in Stoic philosophy, builds self-awareness and accountability. It trains your brain to see time as a tool you control, not a force that controls you. The long-term payoff of mastering time is profound. When you own your time, you own your life. You stop being a passenger, reacting to demands and distractions, and become the driver, steering toward your vision. Every moment you reclaim, whether it's 10 minutes of focused work or an hour saved by saying no, compounds into days, weeks, years of progress. Imagine looking back a decade from now, knowing you spent your time building something meaningful, a career, a legacy, a life you're proud of. That's the power of time mastery. Let's not ignore the external world. Society glorifies busyness, equating a packed schedule with importance. But busyness is not productivity. It's often a trap, filling your time with noise that drowns out your purpose. Train your brain to value depth over breadth, quality over quantity. As Cal Newport writes in Deep Work, a deep life is a good life. Focus on fewer things, done exceptionally well. This might mean turning down opportunities, disappointing others, or stepping away from the hustle culture. But it's worth it. Your time is your life. Guard it fiercely. Picture yourself at the end of a day, a week, a year. You've spent your time intentionally, aligning every hour with your purpose. You're not exhausted from chasing distractions. You're energized by progress. You've said no to what doesn't matter and yes to what does. You've built habits that make time your ally, not your enemy. Mastering time isn't about squeezing more into your day. It's about making your day mean more. It's about training your brain to see every moment as a chance to create, to grow, to live. So, take control, own your time, because when you master time, you master life. Chapter 9, The Strength of Vulnerability, Harnessing Authenticity for Growth. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the courage to show up as your true self, flaws and all, in a world that often demands perfection. It's the raw, unfiltered honesty that builds deeper connections, fuels personal growth, and unlocks your potential. Mastering life means training your brain to embrace vulnerability as a strength, to see authenticity as a superpower, and to use it as a catalyst for transformation. This chapter is about shedding the armor of pretense, facing your fears head on, and building a life rooted in truth and resilience. Let's start with a hard truth. Your brain is wired to avoid vulnerability. Evolution taught it to protect you from rejection, judgment, or failure, anything that might threaten your social standing or survival. In a tribe, being cast out could mean death, so your brain equates openness with risk. But in today's world, this instinct can hold you back. Hiding your true self, your struggles, your dreams, your imperfections, creates a barrier between you and the life you want. To master life, you must rewire your brain to see vulnerability as a bridge, not a cliff. It's the path to authentic relationships, meaningful growth, and unshakable strength. What does vulnerability look like? It's admitting you don't have all the answers when starting a new project. It's asking for help when you're overwhelmed. It's sharing your fears with someone you trust or owning a mistake instead of deflecting blame. These acts feel risky because they expose you to judgment, but they also open the door to connection and learning. Research by Dr. Brené Brown, a leading expert on vulnerability, shows that embracing it fosters courage, creativity, and resilience. When you allow yourself to be seen, you train your brain to prioritize growth over comfort, authenticity over approval. Let's get practical. One way to build vulnerability is through small, intentional steps. Start with low-stakes moments, like sharing a minor insecurity with a close friend or admitting you're unsure about a decision at work. These micro acts of openness desensitize your brain to the fear of judgment, making it easier to be vulnerable in bigger ways. For example, if you're scared to pitch an idea because it might fail, start by sharing it with a trusted colleague. Their feedback, even if critical, will show you that vulnerability doesn't destroy you, it strengthens you. Over time, your brain learns that being real is safer and more rewarding than hiding. Another tool is self-reflection. Vulnerability starts with being honest with yourself. Journaling is a powerful way to uncover your truths. Ask, what am I afraid to admit? What parts of myself do I hide and why? Maybe you're scared to acknowledge a dream because it feels too big, or you avoid confronting a failure because it hurts. Writing these down brings them into the light, where they lose their power to control you. Studies in expressive writing show that processing emotions this way reduces stress and boosts mental clarity, helping you approach life with authenticity. This self-honesty trains your brain to face discomfort head-on, paving the way for growth. Let's talk about the social side. Vulnerability builds trust, but it's a two-way street. When you open up, you invite others to do the same, creating deeper connections. Think of a time someone shared something real with you, a struggle, a fear, a hope. Didn't it make you feel closer to them? By modeling vulnerability, you create a ripple effect. But be selective. Not everyone deserves your openness. Share with those who've earned your trust, people who listen without judgment and support your growth. This discernment tied to the silence from Chapter 1, protects your vulnerability from being weaponized while allowing it to flourish in safe spaces. Now, let's address the fear of failure, which often blocks vulnerability. Your brain might whisper, if I show my true self, I'll be exposed as a fraud. This is imposter syndrome, and it's universal. Even high achievers like Maya Angelou and Albert Einstein felt it. The antidote? Own your story. Acknowledge your strengths and your struggles. For example, if you're leading a team but feel unqualified, say, I'm learning as I go and I'm committed to getting this right. This honesty disarms criticism and builds trust. It also trains your brain to see vulnerability as a leadership strength, not a liability. Research shows that authentic leaders, those who admit their flaws, foster more loyal, motivated teams. Another key is reframing rejection. When you're vulnerable, not everyone will respond positively. Some might judge, others might pull away. That's okay. Rejection isn't a verdict on your worth. It's a reflection of the other person's perspective. Train your brain to let go of the need for universal approval. A technique called cognitive distancing can help. When you face judgment, step back and view it as if you're observing someone else's story. Ask, would I care about this in a year? This reduces the emotional sting and keeps you grounded in your truth. Vulnerability also fuels creativity. When you let go of perfectionism and allow yourself to take risks, you unlock new ideas. Think of artists like Frida Kahlo, whose raw, unfiltered work came from embracing her pain and imperfections. In your own life, this might mean sharing a rough draft, pitching an unconventional idea, or trying a new skill without fear of looking foolish. These acts of creative courage train your brain to value experimentation over safety, leading to breakthroughs you'd never reach otherwise. Let's not ignore the emotional toll. Being vulnerable can feel exhausting, especially if you're used to wearing a mask. That's where self-care comes in. Balance openness with boundaries. Know when to share and when to protect your energy. Practices like meditation or grounding exercises, like deep breathing or a walk in nature, can help you stay centered. A 2018 study found that mindfulness practices increase emotional regulation, making it easier to navigate the ups and downs of vulnerability without burning out. The long-term payoff of vulnerability is authenticity, a life where you're not pretending to be someone you're not. It's freedom from the weight of facades, the energy drain of people-pleasing, the fear of being found out. When you embrace vulnerability, you build a life aligned with your true self. You attract people who value the real you, not a polished version. You take risks that lead to growth, not stagnation. You become a person who can face anything because you've faced yourself. Picture yourself standing tall, unafraid to be seen. You share your ideas, your struggles, your dreams, not because it's easy, but because it's real. You connect deeply with others, not by being perfect, but by being human. You grow, not by hiding your flaws, but by learning from them. This is the strength of vulnerability. It's the courage to show up as you are, to trust that your truth is enough. Train your brain to embrace it, and you'll find that mastering life isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being beautifully, powerfully human. Chapter 10, The Legacy of Purpose, Living a Life That Matters. Purpose is the heartbeat of a meaningful life. It's the why behind your actions, the fire that fuels your persistence, and the legacy you leave when your time is up. Mastering life isn't just about achieving goals or accumulating wealth. It's about living in alignment with a purpose that transcends you, one that gives every moment meaning and every struggle value. This final chapter is about training your brain to discover, define, and dedicate yourself to a purpose that shapes not just your life, but the world around you. It's about building a legacy that echoes beyond your years. Let's start with the truth. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something you create. Your brain craves meaning. It's wired to seek patterns, connections, and reasons to keep going. Without purpose, you drift, vulnerable to distraction, doubt, and despair. But with it, every action, no matter how small, becomes a step towards something bigger. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It's not always about saving the world. It can be as simple as inspiring others, creating beauty, or being a source of love for your family. What matters is that it's yours, rooted in what sets your soul alight. To discover your purpose, start with introspection. Your brain holds clues in the moments you feel most alive. Reflect on times when you lost track of time, when you felt deeply fulfilled, or when you made a difference, however small. Journal these questions. What problems in the world make me angry or sad? What gifts, skills, passions, experiences do I bring to the table? What would I do if money and time were no object? These questions help you uncover your why. For example, if you feel energized teaching others, your purpose might be tied to education or mentorship. If you're moved by injustice, it might be advocacy. This reflection trains your brain to focus on meaning, not just survival. Let's get practical. Purpose isn't a one-time revelation. It's a living, evolving commitment. Start by crafting a purpose statement. It doesn't have to be perfect, just clear enough to guide you. For example, my purpose is to empower others through storytelling. Or, my purpose is to create spaces where people feel safe and valued. Write it down, keep it visible, and revisit it regularly. This anchors your brain, giving it a lens through which to view decisions. When faced with a choice, take a job, invest time, say yes or no, ask, does this align with my purpose? This clarity, tied to the time management from Chapter 8, ensures your days serve your legacy, not just your to-do list. Purpose also requires action. Your brain learns through doing, not just thinking. Experiment with small steps that align with your purpose. If you're drawn to helping others, volunteer an hour a week. If creativity drives you, start a side project. These actions create a feedback loop. The more you act on your purpose, the clearer it becomes, and the more your brain trusts it. Research by psychologist William Damon shows that people with a clear sense of purpose are more resilient, motivated, and satisfied with life. Acting on your purpose, even in small ways, rewires your brain to see challenges as opportunities to live your why. Let's address the obstacles. Purpose-driven living isn't easy. Your brain will resist when the path gets hard, when you face rejection, doubt, or the temptation to take an easier road. This is where the lessons from earlier chapters converge. Use the silence from Chapter 1 to protect your purpose from naysayers. Lean on the focus from Chapter 2 to stay committed. Embrace the grind from Chapter 3 to persist through setbacks. See failures from Chapter 4 as lessons that refine your purpose. Practice delayed gratification from Chapter 5 to prioritize long-term impact. Build self-belief from Chapter 6 to trust your path. Adapt to change from Chapter 7 to evolve your purpose as life shifts. Manage time from Chapter 8 to make room for what matters. And use vulnerability from Chapter 9 to connect authentically with others on your journey. Purpose also means letting go of what doesn't serve you. Your brain might cling to habits, relationships, or goals that conflict with your why because they're familiar. But living a life that matters requires courage to release these anchors. Audit your life. What's draining your energy? What's misaligned with your purpose? Maybe it's a job that feels meaningless or a relationship that stifles your growth. Letting go is painful, but it frees up space for what truly matters. This pruning, as painful as it can be, trains your brain to prioritize purpose over comfort, legacy over security. Let's talk about impact. Purpose isn't just about you. It's about the ripple effect of your actions. Every choice you make, from how you treat a stranger to the work you create, shapes the world. Think of someone like Malala Yousafzai, whose purpose to advocate for education transformed millions of lives. Or consider smaller acts, a teacher who inspires a student, a parent who models resilience, a friend who listens. These moments matter. Your purpose doesn't need to change the world. It needs to change your world and those you touch. Train your brain to see every interaction as a chance to leave a positive mark. The emotional side of purpose can be intense. Living with intention brings joy, but it also brings responsibility. You might feel the weight of your own expectations or fear you're not doing enough. This is where self-compassion from Chapter 3 is key. Remind yourself, purpose is a journey, not a destination. You don't have to have it all figured out. Celebrate small wins. A kind word, a completed project, a step toward your vision. These moments reinforce your brain's connection to meaning, making it easier to stay the course. The ultimate reward of purpose is a life well lived. When you align your days with your why, you create a legacy that outlasts you. It's not about fame or fortune. It's about impact, connection, and authenticity. Studies show that purpose-driven people live longer, healthier, and more fulfilled lives. They're less likely to suffer from depression or burnout because their brain is fueled by meaning, not just survival. Purpose turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones, transforming your life into a story worth telling. Picture yourself at the end of your days, looking back. You see a life shaped by purpose, moments of courage, acts of kindness, contributions that mattered. You see the people you inspired, the problems you solved, the love you shared. You feel no regrets, only gratitude, because you lived true to your why. This is the legacy of purpose. It's the culmination of training your brain to focus, persist, adapt, and believe. It's the proof that you mastered life, not by being perfect, but by being purposeful. So start today. Define your why. Act on it. Live it. Because a life that matters is the greatest masterpiece you'll ever create.